And we're live. We are.
So I got an issue with this baseball thing that they got set up this year. This best of three wild card, right?
That didn't take you long at all. Holy crap, were you holding that in?
Yep, I had this one in the holster because it kind of irritates me. I like the idea of the best of three, but 7 out of the 8 series could be sweeps. So what's the point of it?
The best of 3?
Yeah, because normally the wild card game was a play, and you play one game, you lose, you go on. You lose, you go home. You win, you move on. Now they have the best of 3 wild card, so everybody has to win 2 to move on.
I thought they started that
the other day.
Oh, that's new?
No, this is the first year for that.
Oh, I don't know why I thought they were doing that already.
I mean, I like the idea of it, but if 7 out of the 8 series are going to be sweeps, what's the point?
That's true. That would drive me nuts. Because
I know, just a sample size for this year, and this year doesn't mean anything because it was shortened, so who cares? But I mean, going forward, you're not going to get it any better.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been watching it at all. I mean, I look to see who wins on my phone. I see the Brewers are somewhere around 500.
They were under 500, and they were like the last squad in. They didn't deserve to be in, but since you let half the league in, they got in.
Didn't half the league stop playing, from what I heard?
No, like St. Louis, which another thing. St. Louis, again, their charmed life. They played 2 less games than everybody in the playoffs because they were off like a month.
Yeah, see, those should have just been losses. They should have been out. They called that forfeits when I was a kid.
Yeah, they didn't have to play them because they didn't really mean nothing. Well, you should have still had them play because everybody else played 60.
So what you're telling me is that professional sports is now giving out participation trophies.
Well, at least this year.
That's messed up. I hope that's not something that continues.
And then they put up the stats like the Dodgers were the best percentage team of a playoff since the 70s. Well, they only played 60 games, so that's going to be a skewed number.
I was wondering how they were going to do all that. Like basketball, for example. I don't even know what I almost did it right there.
I don't know anything about basketball, yeah.
I don't either. I mean, I still said they're finishing the playoffs from 1978. I mean, that sport never ends. But
no, it never does. Hockey doesn't either. It ends and then the next one starts right up.
I'd rather watch hockey than basketball, though. I'd rather watch it in person. I think hockey in person's pretty good.
Oh, hockey in person, sure, but on TV, like, where's the puck? I don't know. I guess it's in the net.
Yeah, they did that thing for a while, and I don't know how they were doing it, but it was when we actually worked at Sears. We'd have hockey games on once in a while, and they had a way of when the puck got behind the boards, they could do like this X-ray looking thing where I'm sure it was just an artificial. It looked like a real puck, and they were just superimposing it. But I don't know if there's like a chip inside the puck or something, but you could see it behind the boards. And it was actually not too bad because they're always against the boards.
Well, eventually they'll end up there, yeah. I mean, I don't watch much of that either anymore. In the NFL, I've watched maybe 3 snaps.
Yeah, we were watching the last game, man. We're binging through Parks and Rec right now because as of today, it's not on Netflix anymore. It's on Hulu, but so I have that anyways. But actually, Angie's just like, you want to watch Parks and Rec? Which really surprises me because she actually nowadays will watch football before I will. But yeah, it was just, I don't know. It's not the same. It's like watching a scrimmage.
Well, yeah, with no crowd and everything, it just really, and that fake noise they pump in does not fool me into thinking that there's a crowd there.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. No, it's too, the stadiums are too, without the bodies in there, you have that reverberation and you can hear it when you watch.
They're like caverns.
Yeah, it's, the only thing I question is that what's causing it, or are they putting it in, I guess it's live, so it's not really post, but I kind of like post. Are they putting it in, well, kind of like this, how I'm putting the logo in, but that logo's not really sitting underneath.
Oh, are they putting it in for the TV broadcast only and not in the stadium? I think it's in the stadium. Because
my question would be that's one of the big things, like, Seattle designed their stadium for that, so it'll funnel sound down so that if you're really loud when the visiting team is on offense, it screws them up. So I'm wondering how.
We're gonna have that this year.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, how does that work? Because personally, if I'm the guy, DJing the game, I'm gonna crank that when the visitors have the ball.
You should be able to, right? If you have control of it.
I mean, everybody knows the decibel ratings of their stadium. I mean, that's a thing they do. So I would say, hey, you should be able to crank it up to the top decibel, because you could always say, oh no, that's how it would be. Especially Packers. As much as this whole thing's kind of blown me off of it, I will admit the Packer fan base is insanely huge. They are some of the loudest bastards, sometimes to a fault. Especially when you're hungover and they give you those stupid snap wounds.
Was the worst game to have a hangover.
I mean,
that wasn't the Sprite game, was it?
No, that was horrible. So
where it was 90 degrees and we got molten Sprite because they ran out of water.
Yeah. So obviously you and I feel like there's a third person here we got to tell us about. So we were at a game and we were horribly hungover. And when I say horribly, I mean I think the Sahara Desert was more moist than we were, and they ran out of water at halftime in the stadium. So we got Sprite because it's clear. Yep, that does not work.
It went down like lava. I mean, it was just awful.
Yeah, I love Lambeau, but I didn't love it that day.
Well, then I went. The last game I was at, it was freezing, so both ends of the spectrum there, and I got some hot chocolate that was also freezing.
Was I with you?
Yeah, you were. When I came back to the seat, I spilled it. I poured it out because it was ice cold hot chocolate.
I remember that.
That was $13.
Yeah, I was gonna get some too to warm up, and I'm like, oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't have to do that now. Which is funny because we were at the record hottest day ever there too. Wasn't it the same year, or was it a year apart?
The Sprite game, I think, was like 2 years apart.
No, the Sprite game, it wasn't that. It was hot. It was just we were so hungover, but we actually were at. It was Rogers wasn't in. He was injured. We had our third string in, and he was it was over 100 degrees. I remember when that sun came around the bed. Luckily, we were up in the covered seats. But when that sun came around, I think I lost like 50 pounds. I fought it back right away. It didn't get too far, but.
Then there was the 2011 game. We didn't even go to the seats. We stayed in the bar and watched the Brewers in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Actually, well, no, I think we made it to the seats. It was so damn cold we went inside. The time we didn't make it to the seats was a preseason, and I won that card for...
we went up there just to burn the tickets, and we sat in that bar. The game we went up there and sat in the bar, watched the Brewers play. That was still October. That was still a pretty nice game.
Was that preseason?
No, that was regular season because it was in October.
So many games.
We did the preseason one separate. We went up there for like 4 hours and just around in the bar, and you won that card.
Yeah, so we played video games the whole time.
Yeah.
Time well spent, I still say.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's highway robbery that they charge money for them preseason games. It's just ridiculous.
I can't believe. I'm trying to think. Well, we went for over a decade. I don't think I've missed a season. Because there was a season where we didn't go, but I ended up going with, I think, Josh or someone. I don't know if you know Josh, but so I think we've been going for over a decade. And what are the season tickets now? 170 or something like that? And they started out around $50 or $48, I think?
Yeah, I think this year was 137 each.
Oh, okay, so not as much as I thought.
But next year they'll go up because they missed all the revenue from this year.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to work. Because Lambeau, I think it was like 2005 or something, back in the 90s or something, was forecasted to be bankrupt if they did not do something else. Because they're owned by the city. They're the only stadium not owned by the NFL, or team, I should say, not stadium. Even though they don't own a stadium. But I think 2005 or 2007, they were supposed to go out of business. And they didn't have the atrium at that time. And then I don't know, it was Ron Wolf and the people he brought in. But they built the atrium and all that stuff and basically saved that place. And I got thinking about that. I just know that because I went on the tour. But I got thinking about that. And I'm like, well, what's this going to do for it? They have no income coming in. No one's buying jerseys at a pro shop. I mean, I'm sure people are going to the pro shop. That's one nice thing about Lambeau is people come to see Lambeau, which I don't know. Maybe it's because I live in Wisconsin and I've been to all the stadiums that I care to be at. It doesn't seem as much of a novelty to me, but I mean, people travel to come here, which I find crazy. What am I saying? Wisconsin's the best. The rest of the world sucks.
Well, you've been there 1,000 times, so it's kind of like, whatever. Yeah,
you can only sit next to the smelly cheese guy, and I'm not saying that because of Wisconsin. The guy literally smelled like cheese, and when you're in winter and everyone's wearing heavy ass parkas And during summer, in T-shirts, it's hard enough to fit on those benches. Oh my God, it's an experience. I think it's cool to experience, but we've done it so many times that I was pretty good with those bucket seats we ended up in.
Yeah, that's why I moved. I'm like, I'm sick of sitting on frozen metal.
Remember that game? It was like 35 degrees out and it just poured and we were dry?
Yep.
Yeah,
Everybody else was looking for cover and we're just sitting there like, yeah, that's fine.
That was worth it right there. I still have that picture of Wise. It's a profile picture. He's looking up at a TV or something and he has that garbage big poncho on and his big ass beard.
Although when we were on the cold metal during that Vikings overtime game, when that Vikings fan tumbled 6 rows.
That was hilarious.
And nobody caught him. Yeah, he just came. You just saw a body fly by, like, oh my God.
Remember that?
And it was a Vikings fan.
So where we sat, remember, I think it was 2 rows down and maybe about 4 over, or maybe it was 1 row down, 4 over. There was that one season ticket holder, and he was a dink. He always wore a jersey against the Packers.
Whoever they were playing. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. If you're a Vikings fan and you live in Green Bay or you have tickets to Lambeau, wear your Vikings jersey. Absolutely. I mean, be proud of your team. Or
this guy changed every year. He changed. The 2 games we had, he had a different jersey on.
Yeah, I never understood that. I mean, what a waste of season tickets. I mean, there's so many other people out there that would respect those more.
Yeah, they would kill to get those.
Yeah. I mean, they might not even be Packer fans. They might be another fan, but they would at least... Like, I have a friend he's a Tampa Bay fan, and I tease him all the time about it when I see him, but, I mean, I give him respect. He owns up to it. He's not afraid to admit it.
I don't mind the opposing team's fans as long as they're not dicks like Cubs fans.
Or Bears fans.
I mean, I've met some good Bear fans. Never met a good Cub fan, but met some good Bear fans.
I met a couple of good Bears fans last time. I went to last year I went to the bars for the first game, or maybe the year before it, and there was a few, but the Viking fans are always good.
I've always liked the Vikings fans. They're fun. They take it and they give it, and it's just fun.
Yeah, you would think the you'd think the Bears with how much they lose would be pretty used to it, actually.
Oh, they got that 85 championship. They love to tout out.
Yeah, McMahon.
If you were so great, you should have repeated, correct?
Yeah, you would have thought so. I mean,
that defense, I mean, come on, it was a foregone conclusion.
Remind me who he retired with again?
Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe he retired in Green Bay.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I enjoyed seeing a Packer jersey on him quite a bit. That was awesome.
Well, let's see. Back up 5. You're gonna be integral to our winning this year.
Yeah, he came out with his shoulder pads on and shorts. But, I ain't playing. I'm
just gonna be kneeling down at the end of this thing, so whatever.
I still remember the Giants game though, where he came out after being in the locker room, and I'm like, he still has his helmet on. He never wears his helmet on the sideline. That's not good. And then, sure enough, he said he didn't even remember throwing that touchdown.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal. I miss Favre's playing. I don't know anyone who actually. I mean, people got pissed at him because he was just tossed the ball, but it worked.
That was his style, and you know what? If you're going to be a record holder, why not hold them all?
That's true. And he did repeat, except he just lost the second year.
Yeah, because Holmgren's head was up his ass.
Well, once you get it up there, it's hard to get out. It's a big head.
That was a big giant head, a big melon.
Plus, wasn't there something with Roger where they're like, oh, they went 13-0 or something like that? It was the year we just tanked then. I could have swore Favre went 13-0 with the Vikings before the bounty took him out. I could be wrong on that.
The bounty was in the playoffs.
I thought they were going, but weren't they? I thought they started that in the year. They were like anyone. I thought New Orleans was the playoffs. I thought there was actually things going on the whole season. I could be wrong.
Oh, well, maybe you are. I just remember the New Orleans playoff game where they were headhunting him and all that.
Yeah, some of those guys are banned from being on NFL grounds for life. That's insane.
Well, you shouldn't be the dick.
Yeah, that's just messed up to do. I mean, I don't even like seeing players I don't like get hurt. That's just messed up. But I could have I could be wrong on that. I could have swore they went 13-0 with the Vikings. Now I'm trying to think. Is it only Favre?
16 games in the season.
Yeah, well, 13-1. But no, I mean 13-0 before.
Oh, before they lost.
Before they lost, yeah. I could be wrong on this too. I could be wrong on everything I say because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I said hell. See, I'm controlling it. I don't think I swore once yet.
Let it come.
But don't encourage it. I thought it was Favre, but actually Angie reminded me about Peyton Manning. I think they're the only 2 players to beat every single NFL team.
Yep, until Tom Brady beats the Patriots this year. If they play, I don't know if they do.
I don't think they're playing. I looked it up, but it was one of those things where I was watching TV and I looked it up, so it might have said it right in front of me and I didn't look. I have this amazing device. You can type things into it and it tells you things.
If it tells you the same thing back that you typed, you're using a typewriter.
That's why I didn't get anything out of it.
Yeah, see.
I never said I was smart. Oh, so did you know that if you type in, like, when I'm typing, I'll type in, like, YouTube, and then I hit Control Enter, and it puts the www and the com on it for you.
Sure.
It sucks when I log into school because that's .edu, and I'm so used to doing that. So today, I don't know what happened, but I accidentally typed in YouTube, and I hit Tab, and it turned into a YouTube search field right in the bar, so I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, the Buccaneers, it looks like they played themselves 3 times. Oh wait, no, they're just visitors. So they do. I mean, I could be blind, but I do not see the Patriots on their schedule. So 4th this weekend they play the Chargers. Oh, then they play the Bears. Never thought I'd root for Tom Brady. Well, minor league go. I hope you win.
I really don't care anymore.
That's weird. So Buccaneers play the Bears and then us. 2 teams in a row, not in their division. That normally they spread it out a little bit more, I thought. Maybe not.
Scheduling.
That's true. What do you do? Oh, and then they play the Vikings too. That's 3 teams out of their division.
Well, they play the whole division, probably.
Wait, Buccaneers aren't in there.
Not anymore, but they probably play our division this year. You know, every few years you play a division outside of yours or whatever.
I thought you did every year, but it was only 2 teams.
No, you get all 4.
Oh. I don't know who the other one would be then.
Like the Packers have the South this year, I think, because they played New Orleans.
Oh.
And they play Tampa, and they play Atlanta this week, I believe. So there you go. Then there's a 4th one that I can't think of right now.
I got to make sure I don't touch this one window here. It'll screw up our cameras. So, we actually talked about football, surprisingly, especially for 2 people who don't watch it as much anymore.
We can still bitch about it.
That's true. You know what? I love bitching about stuff I don't know much about. Because I have more to say about it, sounding like I know what I'm saying. Even though I follow everything up with, I could be wrong. That way, if you catch me on something, I'm like, what? I told you I was wrong.
It's almost like if you're not like passionate about it anymore, you can step back and look at it as it really is. And you're like, oh, this has been garbage for years. What if I was blind to it?
So I think the thing that killed me was Mahomes. Nothing against the guy. More power to him. If he would have said, whoa, $500 million? That's too much. Please don't give it to me. I would have come and slapped him myself. But the fact that he's getting, and I don't give a crap about all the, well, when you take this out and when you look at this, it's not really $500 million. Yeah, well.
$380 million. Oh, he'll never live.
I'm pretty sure he'll make up the other 200, not even 120 million through all his advertisement and crap, sponsorships and stuff. You know what? I'm sorry. No one's worth that kind of money. I mean,
that goes on in every sport. And what do you think LeBron makes?
That guy's a tool. Yeah, so Supergirl got canceled.
As every show eventually will.
Well, I think it's destroying the Arrowverse. So I don't know if you watched Arrow. I liked Arrow. I thought Arrow was pretty good. Actually, I thought it was really good. There was one. I don't know if it was the 4th season or what season it was. Kendall and I watched them together, and they were good. But we'd watch The Flash, and there's always like one character in there that there's one in particular character in there that neither one of us liked.
Were they supposed to be likable?
Oh yeah. She was the main character. So, and the thing is, if Kendall doesn't watch, I watched it with her. I mean, I'm busy all the time, so that was just time I spent with her. Otherwise, she didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. So we ended up not watching The Flash, and then we'd binge a bunch of it when there'd be like a crossover with Arrow, because Arrow we liked, and we usually kept up on that for a while. And then Black Lightning started, and we loved that. Cress Williams played Black Lightning, and when we went to Walker Stalker Con and Hero Fest or whatever it was called or something.
Heroes and Villains, yeah. Yeah,
Heroes and Villains. He was there, and like Kendall was ecstatic, so I paid for her to get her autograph with it. And then I don't know if it was delayed coming on or it was a long break, but it was enough where interest was lost. So we stopped watching that, or we got behind. And every episode, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have no problem with the dirty scenes, but when you're watching them with your daughter, they're uncomfortable, and they weren't well written. Like, there was just things in it, like it killed the momentum of the show. In fact, if anyone's listening to this and they watched the Teen Wolf, not the movie, but the TV series, which I have watched all the way through now, thanks to Kendall, they'll know what I'm talking about, because it's actually a pretty good series, but there's particular characters in there that there's no problem with them having a relationship. It kills it. And like I said, anyone who's watched it knows what I'm talking about. The most cringe crap in the world. You're shoving this in here just to shove it in there. And then the main character, Scott McCall, gets a girlfriend in it that actually, me and Kendall both liked her. She was good. And then she was gone the next season. We're like, come on. But I'm a big fan of the guy who plays Styles in it. That guy is hilarious. Oh, it all ties together because one of the guys that is a werewolf in there, one of the main ones, plays Superman in Supergirl. And,
okay, I know that actor, yeah.
Yeah, I actually like him. He's actually pretty good. He also did Kate somebody play Lois Lane in Return of Superman. What's her name? Can't remember. Bosworth, thank you. I was going to say that, but I was thinking, is that a football player? But
Brian Bosworth is different from Kate Bosworth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, one's much younger and better looking than the other. Kate Bosworth and Tyler
Hoechlin or whatever.
Something like that, yeah. They did a movie together, which I find funny because Superman, Lois Lane, but different shows, Superman. They did a show together where they're in Wisconsin, and the government sprays this crap in the air or something. I can't remember what it's called. I have the movie. It ends up killing off most of the living stuff on the face of the earth.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it either.
It's actually pretty good. And I even looked it up, and it wasn't filmed here, which kind of bummed me out. I like it when things are filmed in Wisconsin. It was funny, though, after we talked last time about Solo, though, I watched it again.
Yeah.
And it is good. It's actually really good. There's just one part, and I think I told you about that, where she takes her helmet off, and it's like silent, and they pan from everyone's face for about, I feel like it's 30 seconds, which is like an eternity when you're watching a movie. And it pulled me out of the movie. And it did it again. I watched it again thinking, well, maybe that was just me. Nope, it pulled me out again. I mean, it didn't wreck the movie. I'm just like, I think you weren't supposed to expect who was under it, but part of the problem is I don't know who that is. And I feel like I'm pretty up on Star Wars. I thought it was horrible directing that they did that. They should have just took off the helmet and said, hey, I'm here, let's talk.
Or made it a character that you would have recognized without reading a 3-novel set from 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, if she would have pulled off the helmet and it was not Carrie Fisher, obviously, but, with the deep fakes, they call it, where they can do the face on the thing.
Yeah.
If it was Princess Leia underneath there, that would have been different. I would have been like, oh.
I think they went with how awful she looked in Rogue One when they tried to deep fake her. And, we probably shouldn't do that twice.
Yeah, and a lot of people were like, but Tarkin turned out so well. I didn't feel Tarkin was that good either. No.
Tarkin looked awful.
And they can do better. They can do better. A New Zealand company who was fresh off the boat of doing work did The Matrix 2, and yes, during that Agent Smith scene in the courtyard of the apartments where he's on the pole running around in a circle kicking them and stuff, yeah, you can tell that's CGI, but it looked good. It was believable. It didn't take you out of the moment. I'm
going to tell you this, and I don't have any basis for this, but I believe that was done on purpose, because think of what's happening in that scene. Agent Smith is basically a virus, right?
Yeah.
And he's replicating so fast that the Matrix, being a computer program, can't keep up. So that's why it looks so bad when that's happening.
See, I didn't think it looked that bad. I thought it looked pretty good.
In parts, it looks like it looks worse than it does in some parts than it does in others.
Well, yeah, but that
was just how I read it, because Smith is just overloading it so fast that the Matrix is struggling to keep up with it. And since it is basically a computer program, it's kind of lagging in certain areas.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if I agree that's what they went for, but I agree that that's a good way to play it off.
I don't know if that's what they went for either, but that's the way I look at it now.
I mean, there was moments where it was a little rough, but actually, I thought it was pretty good, actually. I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, when I watch a movie and there's CGI in it, I have a little bit of, it's kind of like Evil Dead. It's the big monster puppet at the end of Evil Dead 2 when he's about to go through the vortex back into the Army of Darkness one.
Yeah.
That puppet all stop motion. There's a certain level of, you got to have some separation of reality, because it's stop motion. It's going to have that jerkiness kind of thing. So when it comes to CGI, I kind of forgive some things. I just really thought that Rogue One failed horribly on Princess Leia and Tarkin.
Well, that's one of my minor quibbles with Rogue One. There's worse stuff.
I think we both agreed that I think it took me longer to come around, but the prequels aren't that bad. They're actually pretty good when you break it down. In fact, some parts are really good when you break it down. But the CGI in that, I felt was there was times where that was atrocious too.
But you got to remember it was 99.
Jurassic Park came out before that.
But Jurassic Park blended it with puppets and animatronics and stuff, so it wasn't as noticeable.
Well, I do agree with that. It is one of the reasons why I really enjoy when movies do practical effects still.
But then when you got to Jurassic Park 3, it looked worse than the first one.
Yeah, I always felt they just gave up at that point.
Sneaking in the water world for the air conditioning.
Oh my God! Oh, I paid. It was matinee prices. It was all good. It was so hot though, and I didn't have air conditioning back then. That was the best movie ever. Not only was it cool in there, but you're just looking at nothing but water. I love that. I'm the only person on the face of the earth that loves that movie because it was so good. Yeah. But I like The Postman too. What can I say?
You like Kevin Costner apocalypse movies?
Yeah, I read the book The Postman too, and I don't read. I mean, so got that going for it. Yeah, Kevin Costner. He, God, that guy's awesome. He plays every different ethnicity, if I even said that right, and yet he still has the same accent in all of it. And he pulls it off.
Well, didn't he try British in Robin Hood?
Yeah, he tried.
Yeah, well, whatever. I still like that movie too.
Yeah. There's another little degree of Kevin Bacon, even though it has nothing to do with Kevin Bacon. Well, actually, we could probably 7 degree it, but both Robin Hoods, well, 2 Robin Hoods. Oh, well, let me go the other way. Superman from Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, his dads were both Robin Hood.
Oh yeah, Costner and Crow.
Yeah, I was going the wrong way with that. You have to go the other way because...
We'll fix it. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, by correcting myself, I just fixed it.
You're lucky I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm okay with sounding like an idiot.
We still haven't gotten to Supergirl getting canceled, but that's fine.
Yeah, it got canceled.
There we go, done. See ya.
That was it. I was just curious if you watched it or anything like that.
I never saw it. I've never seen any of the CW ones.
Oh, Arrow was good. Flash was actually pretty good too. They fired the Elongated Man for some crap he said like 50 years ago. Dabney, I think his name was Dabney or something. I liked him as a character. He was actually one of the reasons Kendall and I did stay with the Flash as long as we did. The main character, the guy who plays the Flash, he was good too. I mean, all the actors and actresses for the most part were good. In fact, there was one in the first season they killed off, which then they started bringing back for reoccurring roles because of the different dimensions. And we were pumped about that because he was one of our favorite characters. So when he died, we're like, you gotta be kidding me. Especially when one of his dimensional characters died for a character that neither one of us cared for. And then what's the other one? It actually has Superman, but he plays Atom or whatever.
Legends of Tomorrow?
Yeah, Legends of Tomorrow. I watched some of it, and some are good, but some are just... I don't know, they drag, and I really want to get into it because I like the characters in it. And the episodes I do like, I really like. You know, it's not really the show's fault, it's just, I don't have a lot of time either. I gotta judge what I watch. So I try to watch things Angie will watch or Kendall will watch. And if Kendall stops watching... So basically, if you can't keep the attention of a 17-year-old girl, I'm not watching your crap. Oh my God, what is wrong with me?
You're a parent of a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Oh, and, this is what I'm going to bring up. Remember last week we were talking about Walking Dead and how that whole Rick Grimes thing was a smoke screen?
Yeah, oh, did you find some? I don't know if I want you to tell me. Tell me.
Nope, it's nothing official. I saw another video that brought that up.
Should we mention a spoiler thing right now in case anyone's listening?
No, because this is just fan speculation. I just saw another video that said the same thing that we were saying, that he's coming back to the show. Nothing official, of course, because they haven't done anything with that in the last season yet, but yep, other people are onto that same train of thought that we were.
It makes sense. I mean, there's no way they're doing a 3-movie spin-off of a show that I think maybe has 1 season left. And
no, they've said the next one's the last season, so
that's right.
Why do a trilogy for a show that's gone?
Yeah. Of course, all you had to do is say trilogy, and I was sold back into it. Amazing how one word can change my mind.
It was bunk. Maybe not from the beginning, but when they decided that it was going to end, I think they said, okay, well, we'll just put him into the show again.
Yeah, well, when they said 3, that kind of tipped me off there, because you said something just now that kind of made me think something back then. I was thinking to myself, like, 3, that doesn't make sense, because you could see the writing on the wall already that the show was already going to probably end. With Rick leaving the show, a lot of people thought that was it and it wasn't going to do a good job. And I did actually enjoy it after that. Not because he was gone. I miss Rick. I thought that the producer, whoever it was, Angela, I don't know her last name. Yeah. Since she's been on, the writing has stepped up. I don't know if she's got a stick of shush or something and she's beating people with it. But give her 2 sticks because I don't know what's going on. But Angie and I talked about it, Kendall and I talked about it, other people. Since she's been on, the show has actually stepped up a notch for me. I liked it. course, it could be the water world effect, too. I could have been expecting nothing because Rick was gone, and I'm like, oh, well, this ain't too bad. And it's funny because Kendall does not like the mini Ray girl, Judith. Yeah, and I can kind of see it, too. She doesn't bother me, but...
It's a young character. I don't really care.
It's a toss.
As long as she's not awful, it's fine.
Yeah, it's a toss-away role for me. I mean, she does have points to the show, which actually I'm okay with, but either way, I can go without it. I thought, and it's funny what you just said, I can tell that I've been up since 3, and not 3 p.m. When they said 3, I'm like, there's just no way. So I was wondering, I wonder if they're going to do 1 or 2. But that third one's an excuse to what we were kind of talking about last week, where it was just, we saw him filming kind of thing. I still wonder if any movies will come out at all.
I would say 1 to fill in where he was before he came back to the show, like that 6-year gap or whatever they did. It would kind of fill in because Michonne went to look for him.
Yeah.
Which I think they'll bring her back too at the end, maybe with him.
I'm kind of hoping
maybe do 1 like TV movie as a thank you to the fans where it shows what Rick and Michonne were doing while they were away.
I'd be okay with that. I'd actually even be okay with if they wrapped up the season next year, not complete, and that movie's what puts it all together. Maybe
good.
Actually, I could see a trilogy. I mean, 1 movie could be Michonne finding Rick. The second movie could be them fighting their way back. The third one could be them getting back to Alexandria or whatever and finishing off whatever the last enemy is.
I suppose, but are you going to keep interest that long with the show being gone?
You know what? If that Angela chick's writing the stuff or involved, absolutely.
Because you better film all 3 at the same time.
You got to Matrix it. It's got to be back to back to back. Yeah. I said Matrix on purpose. I wanted to see if I got a rise out of you.
Well, no, I'm just saying someone's going to come on and say Back to the Future did it first. Yeah, we get it.
Oh, that's right. They did do it first, didn't they? Yeah. You almost have to with how long.
I can't stand Back to the Future 3, so.
I won't say I can't stand it, but it is my least favorite.
It's just, they have to have them playing the older versions of themselves. They can't help themselves, can they? Oh, that's that guy's grandfather and looks exactly the same. Thanks, got it. And then seeing Michael J. Fox play his ancient relative makes the fact that his parents can't recognize him later on even worse.
Really? That's your problem with it? Think a little bit more about that scene.
That's one of my problems. I'm just saying. They can't recognize their son who was back when they met.
My problem is obviously Agnes is a direct descendant of Marty because they're identical.
Identical, correct, yes.
The problem I have with it is Agnes's wife looks exactly like the mom.
Yep. I was going to come around to that, but yeah,
there's some ancestral weirdness right there.
But see, that's one of my problems with 3 is that they had to have these actors play the same roles.
It was lazy writing. If they would have just did Agnes, and I think his name's Agnes, right?
I believe so. I haven't seen 3 in a long time because I don't like it, but yeah.
We'll just say it's Agnes. If they would have had Agnes and it was Michael J. Fox, more power to you, because a lot of that is a cost-saving measure too. I mean,
sure,
you got a person doing both. Plus, you got to give them the extra dough anyways. You almost kill them hanging them and drag them behind a horse. But
we'll give you 2 paychecks, Mike. Just don't sue us.
Yeah, and we'll come back to that for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about. But you could have had a absolutely perfect stranger play the wife, and that would have made a lot more sense.
And nobody would have been like, okay, why is that not Leah Thompson? Nobody would have said that.
Yeah, if anything, that was the first thing I noticed. And I think I was an adult by then. I can't remember. But I just remember seeing that and going, wait a second, does he have 11 toes? Because there was something wrong. And as for the hanging part I made a comment about for anyone who is listening, and I hope you all listen. Michael J. Fox in the scene where Doc Brown has to sniper shoot the rope, Clint Eastwood, Good, Bad, Ugly style. I like all the Clint Eastwood references in the movie. I think that's why I like it. Michael J. Fox actually almost did die because he got choked out while they dragged him with the horse, the noose around his neck. I find it really weird. I didn't think movie studios were allowed to do that. I thought and maybe that's what caused it, but I always thought it was whenever a noose is around a character's neck and there's a rope going up, that rope is actually not attached. It's attached to a harness.
On their back, yeah.
Yeah, the rope around their neck is actually superficial, more decoration than anything.
Maybe that's what started it.
I wonder if that is what started it. That's crazy because
it just seems like a bad idea to begin with.
All around, yeah. Let's drag this non-stuntman behind this horse with a rope around his neck. This will go well.
Stuntman or no. A stuntman's gonna get injured doing that too.
Yeah. Well, didn't they say? I thought he said he actually passed out, like he blacked out.
You're getting dragged from the neck. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so there was a couple things with it. I think he actually was starting to get choked before he even dropped, and then from there, because it didn't disconnect, it was still connected when they started dragging him to it. There was something weird. I don't remember all the details about it, and I might be reversing how the things happened, but I do know he got choked out. Not kung fu style, in a closet. But
that's all right. It's been enough time. People have healed.
that's true. Hey, you laughed. You knew what I was talking about. Carradine.
I did.